Drawing from a photo as drawing in situ. What happens when you take a photograph and use it as a basis underlay for your sketch? Here are easy steps that will help you do it magnificently. Here we see on this drawing the actual photo taken on vacation. Perhaps you'll be taking a vacation to Greece or something within our program, and you use that as the underlay to create an outline sketch. And then once you create the outline sketch, you may add color to it if you wish. When we study a building, this is analytical sketching. We're taking a building and we're trying to find the geometry that's part of that building. This works for classical architecture. It works for some modern architecture. These are guiding lines. These are the terms. All buildings tend to have a foundational base, a first floor, then a middle floor taken for sleeping areas and further housing areas. And it works its way up. The string course always in older buildings shows you where that dividing line is. A modern building may not do that. It might just be a flat front. But one of the nice things that this does is gives the human eye, it becomes a very human drawing because you're actually using the modular of a human as a measurement for this building. And the parapet and cornice are just like is a person wearing a hat. So a very formal building that tells you easily what happens, sleeping, perhaps entertainment, and then the protective base here where it meets the street level, right? And so this is called rustication, coining along the side to show that built of a durable material. When you get to your architecture classes, you'll learn to use A and B and learn to look at a building, take a picture of it or draw it, and then lay out its formative lines that kind of show you how this building is structured. Buildings of the olden times are laid out often like a sheet of music or a good essay. Like they have certain determined parts. It's not ambiguous, and you can find those parts. The golden section was used in this building, and actually you'll learn this particular set of skills in your Arc 1010 or your class of Introduction to Classical Architecture, but we'll show it here so that you understand it. The centralized tripartite, three parts, bottom, middle, upper, or you can base it on a golden section. Did you know that the golden section creates the perfect rectangle? And as humans, it's highly desirable to us. So then you can see why people might like a cigarette package or anything this shape. Maybe your iPhone comes close to this shape and it becomes a pleasing, aesthetically pleasing shape. This is why it was probably used as the monolith in in the Stanley Kubrick's 2001. Here is, but I am digressing. Here's alternating windows. You can see the different types. Alternating is rhythmic, just like in music. A little break up in the routine is most helpful. Openings in the double square. And with all these, there are all the small parts that create architecture that have extra details. Here we see the front view and we see a section of it. We'll be discussing sections in orthographic drawings, but this is how it's done in architectural rendering of the ancients, that you can cut away to show the how the shapes are and then a detail of what the shape looks like. And these usually would go into detailed books, many famous ones that allowed other builders to see how to make these things and to know what kind of details were evident So if you were designing a home, you could take elements of classicism and add it to your building. Here's the side profile, front view, front view with the analytical drawing, and the completion using squares. So you can see our geometry, being able to create a circle, being able to make a perfect cube are very helpful in classical architecture. Here we can see the three spheres that make up this entire archway, and door openings. We are looking now at a floor plan, but it's a floor plan in the Beaux-Arts style. A Beaux-Arts floor plan is taken to be about a 4-inch above the ground cut through everything that goes through it. So you'll reveal columns, you'll reveal hard walls. This is poche, meaning a dark blackened wall. The columns show up, and then each part is labeled. So you get an idea of how things flow. And you can read the main hall, number 1, right here as you enter through it. And this concludes just a little discussion on analytical sketching and how you can kind of break down. Let's go back to our opening. A photograph, and you can take a photograph and start to do an analytical drawing by outlining it, figuring out where the elevations are, and then once you have the overall size, try to lay in some lines. Can you lay in a perpendicular from this line to this line? And you can start to see shapes. And this is just one tool that may help you in your future sketching.